Well,
Excuse
can't
my
be being
technical,
on an hour early.
huh?
Can't be
Well,
as
at
bad
least
as being
that's
on an hour
okay.
early.
You were eager and excited, huh?
I don't know what it
It's
is.
easy to get the time zones messed up. I don't know about y'all, but I mess up time zones all the time.
Me
Well,
too.
I'm on Central Time too, but I keep getting Monday and Thursday. I don't know why I keep thinking Monday and Thursdays the same
Oh,
thing.
gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Yeah, I should have them at the same time. That would make everybody's life probably easier. Awesome. Okay, so couple things. I always love to share a little housekeeping just so you guys all know, because some of y'all are brand new and this is your first workshop since you're in the challenge with us. This call is like we typically start by just going around with anybody that wants to share. I will never put anybody on the spot and make anybody share that doesn't want to. And you don't have to share it. Honestly, you know a lot of people come to this call and have their cameras off and they're working, so they're just listening in, which is totally cool. And we welcome all of the above. Or you can just type in the chat if you want to, or you can just, like I said, sit and listen. And some of us will open and share our hearts and our wins and our struggles or any of that kind of stuff. And then I usually teach on something if possible. But I will also share, we have to stop at 11:45 Central today on the spot. My kids are getting out of school early today, so I got to go get the kids. So I gotta cut this at 45 minutes today, which they're using only about an hour, if that. So other than that, okay, that's the housekeeping done. So first, I would love to hear, is anybody willing to share? And you can either unmute and talk, or you can just type it in the chat, or some that are in our coaching Facebook group can type it in the comments. Wins so far, either this week or it can be the last couple weeks. It doesn't really matter. There's no law or rule or way to say it. I know some of y'all have already shared with me some wins from the challenge since you started drinking the tea and being a little bit more aware of food. Anybody have anything y'all want to share, or you can type it out? It's whatever. Yes, Tori. Yay.
There's my cat. She's jealous.
I love it. We love
I'm
animals,
down.
kids.
I'm down 3 pounds this week already.
Yay.
That's awesome. 3 pounds. That's so cool. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I've just been focusing on more water and protein, really.
Yeah, I love it. And the tea, and then adding the tea made a big difference. Awesome. I'll share now that you said that, I'll share my win too. I'm literally down 3 pounds from Monday, like just bloat inflammation, just feeling so much better. My energy last week was horrible. And I feel like I've got my energy back from reducing that inflammation causes a lot of lack of energy for a lot of us too. So I love that. Anybody else?
Me, I'm also down 3 pounds. A lot of
Yay.
energy. I've been in the gym a lot. I was trying to coordinate some of my workouts into the app. I was having a little bit of trouble with that, but feel fantastic, and yeah, that's it. But I've been using the tea, like the tea bags. I've been using the tea, actually drinking the tea. I do it all the time. There's a tea, a turmeric and a ginger and turmeric tea that I've been buying all the time. So it was great to incorporate it instead of just using the powder, buying the powder, everything separately. So I've been doing that, and fantastic.
Love it. I love to hear all that. That's awesome. Yay, that's awesome. So 3 pounds, 3 pounds, 3 pounds. Who else? Anybody else want to share?
I'll go. I might as well
Go.
get it up. I know you and I talked, but you don't know all of it yet, because I just figured it all up. But my biggest wins first, I will say, I have been consistent since day one of this week. I am doing Erin's 5-day sugar detox challenge. So I've actually cut sugar, pop, which I only do diet when I did drink it. So I cut pop, I cut processed foods, I cut not eating out, just being mindful of everything that I've been doing. I've hit my calorie goal every day. I've gone I went over 3 calories yesterday, 5 calories Monday and Tuesday. Hit my protein goals, girl. I didn't even know I had that much protein in me. After I looked, I was like, Yesterday was 150 something. I'm supposed to be at 128. Monday and Tuesday, I had like 170 something.
Wow.
As of this morning, I have lost 5.8 pounds.
Wow.
Nice.
Get it, girl.
I know that I can tell you now, I can look at my feet now and just being so consistent with, because I do the golden brew, plus I do the inflammation tea twice a day. So I am now looking at both of my feet. I can tell you they are both the same size.
That's huge for you, knowing your backstory. That's awesome.
So just and my stomach, I could tell this morning my stomach, because I can't get out and walk, and I'm really kind of afraid to walk by myself. And when it's cold and rainy, I definitely don't walk. So I'll go downstairs in the we're trying to get our rec room all done. It's like all crazy still in there. But just walking in place just to get my steps in. Oh, one other win I had that is huge for me. And I have not done this since my injury in 2018. I had over 10,000 steps.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that was my other big win.
That's
Oh
awesome.
my gosh, I love it.
Yeah.
It's something that Audrey said at the very beginning, you guys, is, it's just awesome that she's been massively consistent, and she listed that as a win. And I just want to point that out, because, a lot of times we're sharing the wins of the weight loss, or we're sharing the wins of, those things, and those things are amazing and they're so exciting and they're beautiful. We're going to celebrate the heck out of it. But also sometimes we as women we're just all really, really good at beating ourselves up and finding the things that we're not winning at, instead of just seeing the things that we're winning. And sometimes you're going to go through a program or a journey or whatever, and maybe your scale hasn't moved yet. It doesn't mean you're not winning, because the scale does not show all, and the scale does not define us. We are not defined by that stupid number that we see on the scale. We're just not. If you didn't see Monday's mindset replay, I will reshare it if you don't have it. I think I messaged it out and posted it. I'm an over communicator, so I tend to text and message. Sorry if I get a little too much, but I just know some people see it in one place and don't see it in the other. So I just don't want anybody to miss out. But if you struggle looking at the number on the scale as the thing that defines you, then you need to see Monday's mindset training that I did for sure. But anyway, what I really wanted to point out is all those wins are freaking fantastic. And Audrey also started in our accelerator program, and then rolled into our monthly membership program that we have. And so she's been tracking macros for a while. Some of you aren't there yet, and I and some of you are, and I think it's amazing and beautiful. So knowing how far you've come in your protein, that's been a process. It's freaking awesome. But again, I just want to go back to, maybe your scale this week hasn't moved. And the last thing we want to do is ever compare ourselves to other people, celebrate. But at the same time, maybe your celebration can literally be the fact that you're here, the fact that you showed up, the fact that you invested in yourself for the first time, which is, for some of y'all, that is a big deal. Even if it was the $17 challenge, that's an investment in you. And can celebrate the fact that you're showing up and that you're consistent, and it doesn't have to be about numbers all the time. So I love all of that, Audrey. Man, you've come so far. So sorry, that's my ramble for the moment. Anybody else have anything y'all want to share before we get into inflammation? I'm so proud of y'all. It's so awesome to see. And again, some of your wins could literally be just the fact that you feel better, or you are less bloated, or typically the first few days, some of us drop those pounds. Some of it's just the fact that we are less bloated. I've had one woman go through a similar program that literally had an injury and was taking prescription medications for pain, because her pain was so bad from her injury that she just removed a lot of the inflammatory foods from her nutrition, which is, y'all, that's the method behind the madness on the habits that I chose for this 14-day challenge. It's really just to help you remove some of the high inflammatory things that we might be putting in our bodies and don't realize. Anyway, she was actually able to get off of she wasn't taking the prescription pain pill while she was eating better and eating cleaner and drinking the inflammation tea, because we reduced a lot of that through the best medicine in the world, which is our food. And so anyway, so I just want you to think outside the box too. Maybe your energy is better. I know mine is. I'm just like, man, I was missing this energy from eating out a few times and just not getting my good sleep. So anybody else have anything else before? Hey, Jennifer, so glad you hopped on, girlfriend. Right. Let's see. Did we miss any in the chat? I just want to make sure. And if not, we'll move on. Awesome. All right. So many great wins. Awesome. I love it. And if you're struggling too, obviously, we always want you to feel comfortable sharing. And if there's anything specific that you're struggling with, feel free to put it in the chat as well too. I want to really get into teaching and talking a little bit more about inflammation today, but we'll definitely make sure that we can address and answer some questions or struggles if you have them. You can put them in the chat. Or I want you to also, those of you on the 14-day challenge, if you're not like in an actual coaching program with us in the group and all the things yet, some of you might go that route and some of you might not, but it's, I want you guys to also know that you can use that chat that's in the app for the 14-day challenge to ask questions. Like, don't hesitate to ask a question in there. I know we're posting our pictures and all that stuff, or if you're struggling with something, definitely ask, lean on us. So that's definitely something we love to. We everything that we do, whether it's a challenge or like we have a accelerator program coming up soon, which is a group coaching program where we're diving into macros and all this stuff. Whatever we do, we always love to build the community and to make sure that you guys all know that you all are surrounded by some really pretty freaking amazing women that are just going to help you and just build you up. Not just me and Reagan, but I mean the whole group is pretty freaking awesome, if I have to say so myself.
Like Angela and I were just talking about this. I probably am closer to more people within our community than I am with people that I've known A, my entire life, or B, that are in my area. I would much rather make time, for example, and I'm not saying this one person, I'm just saying it because I'm staring right at her, like Audrey, like I'd rather have a virtual coffee chat with Audrey than meet half the people I know in my town. I mean, it's just rewarding and it's energizing but I don't know Audrey. She's just a friend that I've met within our network. And I mean, we've formed an amazing relationship. I don't know Angela. I met Angela because I was a client. So it goes to show that these relationships are actual relationships, and that when people are very intentional within our community, and that's not something that you get every day, that you could build that kind of a relationship with a perfect stranger who is not out to hurt you, but is only out to support and encourage you.
100%. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and if y'all haven't got a chance to meet Reagan yet, Reagan is a huge part. She's like my extension of me. I would say she's my right arm. So you feel free, if there's ever any questions that I might be slow sometimes responding, like you could always reach out, and I guarantee you've got some support there. But I love it. Awesome. Okay, so let's get into inflammation. I really wanted the method behind my madness, because if y'all go if you end up in one of our coaching communities, you're going to hear that a lot from me. I'm a teacher. I'm not a teacher. Like, I've never taught school or anything like that, but I love to teach. I don't want to just give you a macro number and say, go get this much protein. I like to go a little bit deeper than that, with not overwhelm you with a lot of information, but I always love to educate a little bit on, okay, this is the method behind the madness of this 14-day challenge. Because we all walk around with inflammation in our body every day. The whole purpose of this is why I called it the drop inflammation and workout challenge. I wanted to give you guys workouts so y'all can get moving and doing all the things. But I want to educate you on multiple things. What really is inflammation? What the heck is going on in my body when I have inflammation is one thing. And then the other things I always love to educate too on, and there's my husband. I also like to educate you on like what causes inflammation. What do I need to do to avoid inflammation so that I can keep this feeling? We don't want you just to feel good during 14 days. We want you to be able to carry on these habits that we created on beyond, and also understand like what the heck is going on in my body. Like why do I hurt? Why am I extra bloated? Why am I extra tired? A lot of times it is due to inflammation. We all deal with it in some sort of way. But inflammation is our body's natural response to things like injuries, infections, toxins. We all know we live in a world full of freaking toxins. That could be a whole nother day, a whole nother topic, a whole nother training, probably multiple trainings, right? Like, it's just the world that we live in. Damaged cells. I mean, all kinds of stuff causes inflammation, right? But inflammation isn't always a bad thing. So whenever you're hurt or you're injured, I can't tell you how many times I've pointed this out to some of the ladies that we coach that were walking through an injury and they got on the scale and the scale was up 4 pounds, 5 pounds, 6 pounds, however many. And automatically our brain goes to like, oh my God, I gained weight. Like, no, you have an injury and your body's natural response is inflammation to help your body heal. So, right, like that's acute inflammation. That's not necessarily a bad thing. That's short term. So again, I wanted to really point that out because sometimes if you're walking through an injury or a pain, or maybe you just had surgery and your body's trying to heal, it's going to reflect on the scale. And so you guys just know that, and the scale is not everything. But again, that's just the education side. I want to make sure you guys know that. But the other piece of it is it's okay to have a little inflammation. Acute short-term inflammation is how our body heals. So that's one thing. But today I want to talk a little bit more about the other things, the chronic inflammation, the inflammation that is dangerous. I read it somewhere and I wrote it down somewhere and I didn't see it. I've got my notes, but I can't see it where I always like to explain inflammation is like a low-grade fire. If you imagine inflammation is just like a little mini fires, like low-grade fires throughout your body. Maybe you have knee pain. Maybe there's a little low-grade fire, low-grade fire going on in there. If you look at it that way, like how can I put this fire out? Like it's important to know how to put it out, right? Because the thing that I see that is on rampant in today's world, I literally just had multiple conversations these last couple of weeks, even with patients. Some of y'all don't know this, or maybe you do, I don't know. My sister has a clinic here locally, so I get to see a lot of people in person as well for nutrition counseling. And a lot of the topic is like, we got to lose weight, we got to regulate your blood sugar, but we got to get your inflammation under control. How do I do that? Food is your best medicine. Because chronic inflammation, you guys, I'm talking weeks, months, some of us have dealt with it for years. A lot of times this will lead to heart issues, heart disease, but most importantly, autoimmune. Autoimmune is a big deal in today's world. I don't know. I know Reagan and you and I talk about it all the time, but I don't know. 75% of the conversations I have with women in today's world has some sort of autoimmune going on. Does anybody, if you're okay sharing it, does anybody have any sort of autoimmune? Diabetes is even an autoimmune. You can wave your hand, shake, or just, I know a lot of our cameras are off. If you can type in the chat, tell us if you have some sort of autoimmune.
I have IBS-C and psoriasis, plaque psoriasis.
I've been battling on a journey with doctors for over 3 years now, trying to figure mine out with no answers.
Really? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with Reagan. I have IBS, I have gastroparesis, I have fibromyalgia, and they have determined that I do have another autoimmune disorder, but I have to see a rheumatologist to be tested because I keep getting a positive ANA back when they do my blood work.
Gotcha. I'm writing all these down when y'all are talking.
I don't have that, but my daughter has sarcoidosis, and that's an autoimmune disease. So I as much as I can, I take her, bring her to the gym and try to do a lot of things with her. And she'll be 28 years old.
And yeah.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for sharing, for sure. Sarcoidosis. Yeah, and I've never honestly done this, but I think I want to after this call today. I would love to see a long list of autoimmunes. I feel like the list keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. There's so many things going on in today's world, right? But as we always say too, is like we can only control certain things. We got to give everything else to God. God controls the rest, but what can we control? And that's what I love to teach and educate on. And that's how we move our body, what we put in our body, and those sort of things, right? Obviously the method behind the madness on the whole 14-day drop inflammation challenge is to drink the tea. The tea is a natural spice away. Some of us drink gold also from Bravenly, which I love. But I do both. I love it. And here's what I want to share with you too. The tea is something you can do all the time, not just during a challenge. If you choose, if you want to. Some patients even that I've seen in person take the tea and they feel so good on it that it becomes a natural staple that they drink daily. That's totally fine. Also, or I even after this challenge, keep the recipe and use it as a tool. It could also just be used as a tool. What do I mean by that? Like maybe you go on a vacation and you come back and you need to reset your gut. Well, man, drink 2 cups a day for at least 3 to 4 days, if not even more, maybe a week. And just help reset your butt and get your gut and get that inflammation down. So the tea is something the staple that you can keep going. It's not we used to do it was a program called Jumpstart Detox Program, and it was 11 days long, and it was the tea. And instead of habits, we did a lot of recipes, and the recipes were awesome. And I'd have them if anybody wants to copy the recipes. If you're a recipe person, I'll share the whole link to all of them. But we want to do something a little simpler instead of a ton of recipes, more habits. The processed foods is definitely a massive habit. How many? Let's take a poll. So one of the habits was to avoid processed foods at all costs, if possible. And that's going to be drive-through. That's going to be eating out. That's going to be, I always call it heat and eat kind of meals. The meals that literally say all you got to do is heat it and you eat it and you're good to go. Even the healthy choice meals in the freezer section are absolutely not healthy. How many can honestly say, let's rate ourselves on compliance on that, like on a scale of 1 to 10. How compliant have you been on avoiding processed foods? 10 being, I haven't eaten a single set of processed food. 1 being, oh, I've eaten a lot of it. I'm sorry. And don't apologize per se, but Hannah, 10. I love it. Reagan, 9, 10, 10. Woo, look at some 10s in here. I love it. And if you haven't been, it's all good. Yep, protein bars are processed, believe it or not. Yeah. I love it, Audrey. 10, 9. Awesome job, y'all. That's so good. Yeah. Yeah, protein bars are processed. And even though it's not a heat and eat, it's kind of similar. But here's my take on it. We're doing this for the 14-day challenge, but in the future beyond that, we're not here to be perfect, right? We're trying to be the best we can, and I love protein bars. Like I'm getting ready for church camp in a couple weeks. I'll be gone for an entire week, and I eat 1 a day while I'm there. It's that or it's cafeteria food, and I will take processed protein bar daily and sandwich meat and different things that I literally pack a cooler in those moments over the cafeteria camp food all day long. And so they're great to have. Protein bars are great to have on occasion. It's not something you want to eat on a daily basis, but occasion is not going to hurt you, even though they are processed. So yeah, I love it. Yes, and you've done awesome on that. Okay, so the others is fruit and veggies. So let's take a poll on the fruits and veggies. How many? Let's go with the same rating system, 1 to 10. How many have eaten their 2 fruits and 2 veggies on a daily basis? On a daily basis, I know I've definitely been a 10 on my fruit. I think probably about an 8 on my veggies. Yes, Linda, shaking your hand. I get it. I love it. Awesome job. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Man, y'all are crushing that habit. How about your water? Let's go. In the next habit is limit your water, or not limit your water. I need to drink my coffee is what I need to drink. My brain's not working as well. At least half your body weight in ounces, or whatever your water goal is. What is your level of compliance? 11, Reagan. I love it. You overachiever. Awesome. 8, 10, 11, 7. I'm having a really hard time drinking over 64. All good. Hannah, thank you for sharing that out loud. If you're having a hard time with 64 ounces, here's my biggest piece of advice when it comes to water, and then I'll get back on track with my inflammation, I promise. Water, if you're having a hard time drinking 64, or let's just round it off to 60 for anybody, or whatever your number is, right? You do the best that you can to get consistent with at least 60 first. Once you get consistent with 60, then you increase your goal to maybe 70 or 80. Get consistent with there, and then you increase. No, there's no law in the world, y'all, that says everybody has to have a gallon of water a day, just FYI. I think it's a stigma out there, just like 10,000 steps a day. 10,000 steps is a freaking fantastic. But if you're only used to getting 2,000 a day, don't try to shoot for 10,000 overnight. You got to go to 3,000 first and get consistent there, and then you go to 4,000. Same concept with the water. So do the best you can. One of the biggest piece of advice I can give you with water is start your day with water. Start your day with at least 8 ounces before you even drink your tea is a great habit. If you're a coffee drinker, I'm a coffee drinker. I just kind of switched up my routine today and had a rush this morning before the gym instead. And so, don't put anything else in your body before you drink a good 6 to 8 ounces of water is a really good habit to instill. And you'll get better. That way you're not catching up at night and having to get up 3 or 4 times throughout the night to go to the bathroom. Because then we have a whole nother problem. Your sleep is disrupted. Okay, good, Hannah. Yeah, good. I'm glad you glad we took some stress off you for sure. Don't stress over it. Be the best you can and know that that's good enough and you'll grow. So let's go back to, okay, a lot of y'all shared some autoimmunes. And I'm definitely not a doctor. I'm just a holistic nutritionist, certified trainer, and a coach, and an entrepreneur, and all the things. But again, I will say the more and more that we leave chronic stress, and the more we keep putting toxins and high inflammatory things in our body or treating ourselves certain ways, then some of that has been a cause to some people having autoimmune, right? And some of us are genetics and all kinds of. There's so many things to play, right? But let's talk about the main causes of inflammation so that we all know, right? Audrey, this kind of goes along with your testimony of losing already almost 6 pounds because of the challenge, but also you've cut out sugar. High sugar intake. Sugar is actually a very high inflammatory food. And so it affects in all kinds of ways. It can affect you mentally, brain fog. It can affect you in a way of being tired, exhausted, feel like you have the flu. I know the last time I overdid sugar, I literally was down with a migraine. The next day it was terrible. It was like Christmas, and I literally thought sugar was Christmas. I ate all that I could. That's terrible. But your high sugar intake is definitely one of them. We already talked about processed foods. Processed foods is the easiest way, because it can be confusing. Anybody else confused around processed foods? You can put confused in the chats, because I think I get this a lot. The best thing that I can say when it comes to process is because there's a lot of process out there. Like I said, the most confusing is even the healthy choice meals in the freezer section. It's misleading. It makes us think, oh, this is a good choice, right? But it's processed, and it's got so many extra additives and toxins in that food to make it stick around for a long, long time in the freezer section and actually be edible by the time you actually heat it and eat it, right? So the biggest thing I really want to hone in on processed foods is this. I already said the heat and eat. If it's already cooked and all you have to do, like the stouffer stuff that's already like made and put together and seasoned, and all you gotta do is either throw it in the oven or throw it in the microwave, that is a huge part of where a lot of people's processed foods comes from. Or obviously drive-through is one of the worst. Even the healthiest choices from their chicken, their sources, all that stuff is highly processed and full of extra additives so that it tastes good, so that you come back, right? Like that's the cycle. They want you to keep on coming back. Or it has to do with like what they cook their food in, like a whole thing. But here's the thing. Here's my piece of advice. Start small. Don't try to have it all figured out and have to cut out every single processed food if you feel like you might be someone that's eating a lot of it, right? Avoid the heat and eat, and avoid the drive-through. This is why I started with those 2 things, because it's the easiest ones to get rid of. Because then eventually you can graduate into, let's read some labels. Let's do all these other things. But when in doubt, the best thing in the world is going to be if it's fresh or frozen and you cook it yourself, it's always going to be the best choice. But life isn't perfect, right? We all know that, right? Life isn't perfect. We're all incredibly busy. And we all get into these, we all have moments where like you have no choice. And so instead of looking at, oh my gosh, this food is bad for me, it's so bad, it's going to make me like, just be aware of what it's going to do. It's probably going to trigger some water weight and inflammation that you're going to hold. But you can get rid of it by jumping right back on the bandwagon. But I want you to, instead of looking at this food is bad and this food is good, I want you to look at like, this is a good choice. But you know what? This is a better choice. And this is the best choice. And the best choice is always going to be if it's fresh or frozen. When I mean frozen, I don't mean frozen and seasoned that you heat it and eat it. I mean like frozen chicken, frozen vegetables, things that you still have to cook yourself. They're just frozen. And it kind of saves you a little bit of money if you're eating food on a budget. I like a lot of frozen. I do a lot of frozen veggies, the steamable kind, because I just want to put in the microwave and heat it. Now that's a difference. That's steaming the veggies, right? It's not, is it perfect? No, nothing's perfect. God's perfect. We're not, and it's okay. So if you strive to be perfect, hopefully this will at least take some pressure off of you to not have to be perfect. So processed foods, that's why I chose those two things. Just start with staying away from drive through the best that you possibly can, and heat and eat or anything from a box. Like what are they called? Hamburger helper type of stuff. I mean, I grew up on that. That's what I was raised on. Right? But it is processed and it's a little bit different now than it was back then. A lot more extra toxins in there than they once was. Were you gonna say something, Reagan?
Well, I was
I
just going
thought,
to say like rice brownie, hamburger helper. I was just going
yeah,
to say a good rule of thumb is if it has more than like, if it has more than what it's supposed to be, it becomes processed. So like ketchup is a processed food. I mean, because it has additional ingredients than tomatoes. So, I mean, that's just kind of a way to look at it. Some ketchups are better than other ketchups, but like you said, I mean, a good rule of thumb is that I've always been taught when it comes to buying things, processed, it's 5 ingredients or less, and make sure you can pronounce them and you know what you're putting in your body. So if you
right.
have to look it up in a dictionary, you probably shouldn't be eating it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and when in doubt, you can always look it up. But again, I've seen it over and over and over as I've coached women for so long. If you try to do all of that, try to think of the every little bitty food, like you're just going to be overwhelmed and it's going to suck. And we all tend to give up in that scenario. So don't overwhelm yourself trying to do too much. Just stick to the habits during these 14-day challenge. Get really good at it, and the next thing you know, it's going to be second nature for you to say no to the dry food, or second nature if you to say no to things from a box, or the freezer section that just says he didn't eat it unless it's just raw vegetables that are frozen or raw meat that's frozen. And then you build off of your lifestyle from there. Learn to read some labels later on down the road. Like these are little things that we do in our future coaching programs. Like we have got a 6-week accelerator group coaching program coming up. Little things like that. Like we go into depth, a little bit more depth in that kind of stuff. So anyway, I'm going to move on because I've literally talked about processed foods for a long time. It's a big one though, so I just really wanted to zone in on it. Gluten is another one. Gluten is an inflammatory food, but here's the thing that I want to say about gluten, and then I'll move on to the next one. Gluten and dairy. I'll just couple those in the same thing. Gluten and dairy are high inflammatory foods, but am I telling you to go do dairy free and gluten free? No, not unless you know that that's a trigger for you. And the only way to know it is being aware of how you feel after you eat certain foods. Or some of us, I've taken women through like full blown elimination diets because we had to find their trigger, what was going on. And so I've done the gluten free aspect even with my son. My son's 7, he's on the autism spectrum. And when we changed food and did heavy metal detoxing for that kid, he's a different kid. Nobody really even knows he's on the spectrum anymore. He's thriving and all of these things. So like food is your best medicine, but just because gluten is a high inflammatory food doesn't necessarily mean you've got to cut it out unless you know it's a trigger for you. But they are inflammatory foods. So when in doubt, if you can do gluten-free type of stuff, it's never a bad thing. So gluten and dairy are high inflammatory foods. Let's talk about some other things that are a little bit not food wise. These are a little bit more lifestyle wise. Working out too much, overtraining. How many days a week are you weight training? Put it in the comments. I know there's 3 workouts on the calendar, but some of you are doing more than that, which is totally fine. Some of you guys were working out prior to that. Some of you guys are just getting started with the weight training. I literally typically do 4 weight training sessions a week and then walk. And that's literally it. Yes. Uh, awesome. 3 to 4. I love it. Awesome. Now, I cannot stress how many times I've had women come to me and it's 6 to 7, like, girl, you gotta stop. We need to eat more, we need to do less, we need to work out less. Because then believe me, overtraining can actually cause chronic inflammation that also can lead to injuries and all kinds of different things. So believe it or not, that is definitely a reason for inflammation. Some people have injuries. We already talked about that. That's your body's natural response, and that's really just to be aware. Um, Anytime we're sick, our menstrual cycle, that's a whole nother ball game, right? It actually causes inflammation in our body. This is also another reason why we bloat up. This is why we also gain some weight during the cycle. It's not gaining weight, it's just holding weight, holding that temporary water weight and inflammation. But the other things, the last 2 things on the list that I really wanted to stress is stress. It's actually stress and cortisol levels. One of that and lack of sleep. I'll lump those all together. When stress and cortisol is incredibly high, so is our inflammation. And then on top of that, if we're not sleeping, our inflammation is really high. Lack of sleep and high stress definitely triggers a lot of inflammation in our body. It affects our hormones. It affects a lot of things in a negative way, right? So if stress is incredibly high, some things you can't control. This goes back to like, hey, sometimes God puts a lot of things on our plate and he wouldn't if we didn't think we can handle it, right? Amen to that. But it causes a lot of extra things that we can't necessarily control. So this goes back to how do we manage that? If stress is really high, Angela, it's affecting my sleep. Like I can't get rid of it right now. Like I wish I could, right? I wish I could invent a light switch that we could sell and just turn that sucker off. But that's not reality, right? So what can we do instead? We just have to, number one, find those stress management techniques. And believe it or not, or our routines, habits more than anything. And so our stress management habits, if anybody has one already, something that you do for your stress management, drop it in the chat and let everybody see. I know walking is cardio, but walking is also really good for your cortisol. This is why walking is on your calendar every single day. If you can't physically walk every day, then that is totally fine. I personally walk usually 5 to 6 days intentional walk, whether it's treadmill or outside. And some days, especially now that we bought our new house with a lot of land, that's steps. Like just count your steps. As long as you're active, you may not have time to go get an intentional 30-minute walk, but are you hitting a step goal of any kind? Stress management is massive. We all need it, y'all, because stress can come in forms of financial issues. It can be just being a mom. Just being a mom is stressful. Like, let's be real. Chasing kids, and this week especially, like with the end of week for us for school, and all y'all we're all in different seasons of life with kiddos, but can also come from toxic relationships in your life. It can come from business. Growing businesses is amazing, and it's so rewarding, but it's also very stressful, right? Any business owners in here? I know a lot of y'all are bravely with us, and that's growing a business. That's stressful. It can be stressful. Some of y'all have a job. I used to work in a job before I got into network marketing, and it was the most toxic, negative environment that I ever had. Like my stress and was so high then because of the people that I was surrounded with daily, right? So again, stress comes from all different forms. So you have to have some sort of habit in your life on a daily basis that is stress management. And I love seeing meditation in the chats. I love that is my favorite. I will say I'm not 100% consistent on it every day, but for the most part, I do. I have a chair right back here. I don't know if y'all can even see it. It's my little meditation chair. It's also my chair that I rocked my babies in whenever they were born. I won't let my husband get rid of it. It's my favorite, most comfy chair ever. And Insight Timer is an app. Yes, I love it, Audrey. That I use. It's a free app, Insight Timer. If anybody needs any meditation tips or ways. Like I used to, and if some of you might be like, I can't meditate, I don't sit long enough. Anybody? I used to tell myself that until I had a mentor and she kind of forced me to try it. And I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I try this sooner? I have to have guided and someone in my ear just telling me to breathe, take a deep breath, breathe out, just telling me things in my ears that's going to help me reprogram my mind. I do it a lot when I'm walking because I do have a hard time sitting down, but a lot of times I like to listen to a guided meditation while I walk. Do you and however it works, but meditation, prayer, Hannah, I'm so glad that you said that as well too. Amen to that. A prayer every day, multiple times a day is always a great thing in my personal opinion. Bubble baths, that's so good. Writing and prayer walks, Reagan, I love it. Adult coloring books, I love that. Worship music, sewing, decluttering, organizing, yeah, that's so good. And walking, yeah. So all of these things, finding time to make sure you keep those in on a daily basis is huge. Reading, that's awesome. Perfect. So one of the biggest and best things that you can do is to keep our inflammation. I want you to think of inflammation under control. Meditation does play a role in that. Why? Because it's helping you. I've got a friend at the gym. He was just telling me he's got 2 different autoimmunes, and his doctor actually recommended him to start meditating to help him keep his flare-ups under control because a lot of it is stress induced. And so I love it. I love seeing what all y'all are doing. Whatever you do, don't stop it. So yeah, stress management tools are huge. We're not going to get into in the 14-day challenge a lot of lists of high inflammatory foods, not inflammatory. Why? Because I just want you to stick to what you're doing. What you're doing with these habits, you guys, are literally is exactly what we're doing. It's they were designed and they were created in this list to help you get some of the inflammation down, just by forming habits, because I love to simplify. I could give you all the list in the world. I could give you a lot of rules to follow. Like nobody wants rules and homework, and it's part of the problem of today's world because it is literally. Thank you for that, Andrea. That's your message. It can literally just overwhelm you and then shut you down, and that's the last thing I want to do. So, yes, yeah, I gotta hop off in just a second, go get my kiddos. But stress management, habit, keep it going. Prioritize sleep. Sleep, so important. And if you need help or if, there's a lot of things that we can talk about, I might actually do we are going to do another training next Thursday. So put it on your calendar. We'll talk about something that I feel like that is needed or something you guys. Share with me y'all are struggling with the most. So routine isn't just about getting our workouts in and hitting our macros.
Mm-hmm.
I know she has really choppy internet sometimes, so we may have lost her.
I'm still here.
That's
so weird. It literally just it was gone. I think it's trying to tell me I gotta go get my kids. I think that was literally like 11:45 on the dot. That is weird. Man, that's God's way of telling me to go. Anyway, I don't even know what I was saying, but just stay the course. Don't try to add 20 more things. Don't try to do like the next Facebook post you see with the next new idea and all the things. Like keep your blinders on, stick to these habits. We'll talk a little bit as it gets closer to the weekend and just some tips and extra accountability for us all, whether you're in the 14-day challenge or some of you are on our 6-week coaching program, and some are in our membership that rolls on for as long as you stick with us as well too. We have all kinds of options, but we'll talk through all those. Just stay the course. Keep it crazy simple. And if you're struggling, stay connected. If you're rocking it, stay connected. Either way, just stay connected and we're here to help you. So thank y'all for listening to me today. I hope y'all got value, and I'm sorry that I have to run to go get my kiddos. But if you got any questions from this call today, let's drop them in our chats and we'll keep this conversation going. Or somebody was about to say something. Did I cut somebody off? No, okay. I thought I cut somebody off. Okay, cool. So if you got any questions from today, we can carry this on into the chat definitely. And I gotta go get my kiddos for the last day of school, summer. Y'all have an amazing day, and mark your calendars for next week. We'll do the same thing, same time, same place. Bye.
Bye.